Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio presented by NorthStar Bet. I'm your host, Andy MacNeil. I'm here weekdays on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcast, providing NHL projections, betting advice, and strategies to help you make informed hockey bets throughout the NHL season. If you enjoy the content, please like this video and subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel right now. Check out the NorthStar Bet link in the description below as they cater to our needs here on this show by offering early odds on the next day's NHL games. Let's recap some business from Wednesday's show. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm a freaking maniac. You won't find many, if any, people as passionate about hockey handicapping as I am. I handicap every NHL game every day. I share my projections with you while picking out the bets that I think are going to be the most profitable long term. I like to originate my own odds and get my opinions out there first to market, right? Because I know the best way to provide value to sports bettors and hockey fans is to look ahead to the next day's game. So your best chance to get the maximum amount of value from watching or listening to this show is to check out the show as close to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time as possible. And don't forget, on Friday, I'll be looking ahead to Saturday's games to give you a head start on finding some betting value for this weekend. Subscribe to get notified when that episode drops. Anyway, 1-1 night last night with the Coyotes minus 109, losing in overtime, but a profitable night because my bet on the Stars at minus 123 was more than twice as big as my bet on the Coyotes. Time for a schedule breakdown. This is for Thursday, November 2nd, and Friday, November 3rd. As you can see, we've got a dozen games on the docket tonight, only two games on Friday. Of course, we've got a big slate coming on Saturday, and we'll get to that on Friday's show as mentioned. But if you've never seen this before, here's what you're looking at. The load column gives you a little bit more context, tells you whether a team is playing 2 games in 2 nights, 3 games in 4 nights, 4 games in 6 nights, 5 games in 7, or 6 games in 9. The rest column tells you how many days rest teams have across the league. You can take a screenshot of this table right now if you want to look at it a little bit more later, but I've already included this, factored it into my handicapping, so I'm going to move on to my projections. Let's get into Thursday's bets. Of course, we've got a big game between the Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. No Charlie McAvoy. He has been suspended for 4 games. Matt Grzelcyk, another Bruins defenseman, is out until the middle of November. And now a third Bruins defenseman, Derek Forbort, is also out. So updated odds for the Bruins, minus 115, which doesn't quite feel right if I'm being honest. But I'll trust the model here as it's been doing a great job at predicting where lines are going to move. Cluster injuries, though, at one position like defense are tough, and I'm a little bit worried about the Bruins in this one, especially with a lot of motivation for the Maple Leafs coming in after that terrible performance on home ice against the Los Angeles Kings. So we are seeing the Boston Bruins now at minus 109 at North Star Bets. So yeah, some small value. I think I'm going to wait on this one. So I actually was able to bet the Maple Leafs at an off-market price before Wednesday's show, well before Wednesday's show. That number was not around, so I didn't talk about it on the show. But I mean, that's kind of keeping me from rushing to bet the Bruins here because I've accumulated a lot of closing line value on my unofficial bet on the Maple Leafs. But you know, if I've got enough plus EV to bet the Bruins, I might consider it anyway and guarantee myself a little bit of profit either way. But I'll let you guys know on Twitter at Digital Gambler if I decide to bet on the Boston Bruins or not. If I do, it'll be the first time I did all season. Of course, we know the Bruins have had a really easy schedule, the easiest schedule of any team in the league thus far. So tough to really get a feel for what this team is. The Tampa Bay Lightning in Columbus taking on the Blue Jackets. Kirill Marchenko will drop back into the Blue Jackets lineup. Thank you, Pascal Vincent. CBJ is going to need all the scores that they can get to win this bet for me. Columbus to open up in the plus 150 range, and I bet them to beat the Lightning. A smaller bet, but it'll be a decent payout at those odds. But now the Blue Jackets are listed at plus 128, not plus 155 or plus 150. So don't bet Columbus at that price. You're not going to get the best of it now. You missed it. Watch the show early, get the best value. Speaking of getting the best value, not quite going as planned here on the New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier, we know he's out for the Devils. already had a pretty good idea of that to begin with. Matt Boldy now could return to the Wild lineup, and Philip Gustafsson will start for the Wild. I'm now projecting Vitek Vanacek to get the start for the Devils. I'm still in love with the New Jersey Devils here, despite the market resistance. I bet the Devils for 1.36 units to win 1.17 units at minus 116. They're a good bet at the current minus 115 odds, clearly. Like I said, the market a lot of resistance here. They're not moving on the Devils. There must be some money on the other side coming in on the Wild, but I'm not a believer in this Minnesota team who ranks 26 in expected goals at 5-on-5. The Devils, they've been one of the unluckiest teams in the league year to date, and maybe that's a reason why the market is down on them. Regardless, I've got conviction here, like I said, and I think when this one is all said and done, people will think the Devils should have been a bigger favorite. We'll see if that happens before the game, before the puck drop, but in the meantime, I'm still betting the Devils like last night with the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. You've got to have conviction sometimes, and this is one where I think the Devils are a far superior team to the Minnesota Wild. Another one I've got to bet in the Kings and Senators. Look, the Senators blue line really banged up right now. That helps the Kings' chances. Brandstrom is out, Shabbat is out, and now it looks like Artem Zub is going to be out too. So I'm on the Kings at minus 104 to win 1 unit, as the model thinks they should be priced at minus 116. But now that Zub is confirmed out, he's a pretty good defenseman. You could justify betting LA at around minus 110 to win 1 unit as well, because I think their projected odds would be closer to minus 120 now. Did not get a chance to update that since that news came out, but just making a little bit of a guess here, 2 or 3 cents in the other direction, you could probably justify betting the Kings at minus 110. But I'm on the Kings at minus 104. If you can find minus 104, minus 105, great. The current odds at NorthStar Bets have the Kings as a minus 110 favorite. So, like I said, if that's all you can find, I think you can justify that now that we know Zub is likely going to be out. And also take this for what it's worth, but I am throwing a total dart here, risking 0.25 units on Kings forward Quinton Byfield to score an anytime goal at plus 425. Byfield, he's playing on the top line, and he's also on the second power play unit. He's not getting a lot of shots on net, but he is attempting a lot, and he can be a bit of a net front presence at times. So I think he should have opportunities to get to the net against the Senators, maybe more so now with how weak the right side of the Senators defense is looking heading into this game. So Quinton Byfield, 0.25 units at plus 425 anytime goal. Another bet that I have for Thursday, the Canucks at Sharks. Capo Kakinen will start for the Sharks, and we got a great price on the Vancouver Canucks at minus 185. Even if Casey DeSmith starts in this one, it'll still be a good bet. Vancouver now minus 235 on the money line, which is about where I thought it would be. So good bet there. Glad to have that number. Big favorite, but glad to get a really good price on that one. Florida and Detroit. Update here. James Reimer is now starting for the Red Wings. This one came out a little while after I did the show on Wednesday. Weird decision, if you ask me. This is a huge game with big playoff implications. Start your best goalie, right? Ville Husso is your best goalie. I had originally projected Ville Husso to start this one. So updated projection has Detroit as a minus 104 favorite with Reimer in goal. So the Red Wings plus 102 right now at NorthStar Bets. You know what? I'm interested here. The Red Wings, I think, like I said, they're a one-line team. I think Ville Husso is a big reason why they're so good this year. James Reimer, not a bad backup goaltender by any means, so. But I'm going to wait on this one, see if some money comes in on the Florida Panthers. Not exactly, dying to bet the Red Wings here in this spot with Reimer in goal. But I do think that there is going to be something here maybe later in the day. If those odds tick up a little bit more, I will likely put a small bet on the Red Wings against the Florida Panthers here. Like I said, huge game, big playoff implications. Should get both teams best. The Carolina Hurricanes at the New York Rangers. Money has come in on the Hurricanes, and that has pushed the Rangers' odds down a bit. I don't agree with that, right? I can maybe see why bettors like Carolina, depending on how they look at things. I mean, they were a really good team last year, but they don't look all that good at this point. The odds haven't moved enough, though, to justify betting on the Rangers, so I'm not on this game at this point. We got the Rangers minus 115 on the money line. Carolina coming back on the other side at minus 105 at NorthStar Bets. Another bet that I had heading into today was the Islanders at minus 123. That had moved to around minus 130, minus 135 across the board. However, now it's been confirmed that Semyon Varlamov will be in goal for the Islanders, not Ilya Sorokin, and that ruins my bet. I'm not happy about it. Hopefully, the Islanders can still get the job done, but the new projected odds are minus 115 in favor of the Islanders, whereas before they were around minus 133. So I would not recommend betting on the Islanders at the current odds, minus 117 at NorthStar Bets. That is nowhere near the kind of value that I'm looking for on a bet. And it's unfortunate that I got the goaltending prediction wrong. But hey, I should have probably guessed, given that how Washington has been one of the worst teams in the NHL. Varlamov, a former Capital. I probably got this one wrong, but hey, we move on. It's a long season. You're going to make mistakes, right? Anyway, Semyon Varlamov starting for the New York Islanders. Montreal at Arizona. Connor Ingram will start for the Coyotes. I don't have a whole lot of interest in this one. Had a small bet on the Coyotes last night, as I mentioned. I think people are a little bit too high on the Coyotes right now. Like, they're a good team, but they've got some great skill. Look at Logan Cooley scoring that highlight reel goal last night. Of course, Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz. There are some really good players on this Arizona team, but I think that the market is kind of going a little bit too hard on them. We saw them get up to around the minus 140 range at some shops against the Anaheim Ducks, who have been pretty good. I had that game around minus 116 in favor of the Arizona Coyotes, or minus 120, something like that. So I didn't think there was any value at minus 120. If you watch the show, you'll understand what it means to be a price sensitive bettor. That's me. I am definitely, I care about 5-10 cents. That means a great deal to me. Some people might find that a little silly, but I think, most real sports bettors, anybody that's, legitimately in the thick of things every day, will understand where I'm coming from. Getting the best price will help you big time in the long run. Winnipeg at Vegas. Winnipeg's odds have come down a lot since the market opened. The Jets were up around the plus 155, plus 150 range, now in the plus 120s. In other words, unless you bet Winnipeg early, you don't want to bet on them now. And we've got another big game, huge playoff implications. The Predators at the Kraken in Seattle. Nashville now a plus 105 underdog. Not enough to bet on the Predators, as I think the Kraken should be a minus 111 favorite. So not sure if I'm going to end up with anything on that one, but we will wait and see for sure. I think that it is going to be tough to find any more bets now, given how things have moved, and with the goaltenders being confirmed now. I'm just looking at the Devils and the Los Angeles Kings as the remaining bets here that are left for Thursday. As far as what I got down on yesterday, if you didn't watch the show on Wednesday, hopefully you realize that there are some great opportunities to get down on some great numbers on NHL games. If you bet early, best bets I'm going to make are going to be against opening odds. So we've also got the Dallas Stars in Edmonton taking on the Oilers. Not a great performance by Dallas in Calgary last night. They didn't play a full 60 minutes, but they still got the win, thankfully. Intuitively, I think that's bad for the Oilers. Good teams know when they got away with one, and the Stars probably got away with one last night. So I would not be surprised if Dallas came more ready to play in Edmonton tonight than they were on Wednesday in Calgary. But that's just my gut feel, though. The model thinks that Edmonton should be a minus 128 favorite. So with the Stars coming back at plus 120, nothing right now on that game. And finally, I guess, cap things off, we'll look at the two games on Friday. The Buffalo Sabres hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. Not sure what the extent of Carter Hart's injury is. He left Wednesday's game versus the Sabres. With Samuel Ersson projected to start, the model has the Sabres as a minus 167 favorite. In the other Friday game, the model thinks the Devils should be a minus 160 favorite against the Blues, with Akira Schmid in goal. Like I said, I'm projecting Vitek Vanacek to get the start against the Wild. And don't forget, I look ahead to Saturday's games on Friday. So join me at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcast, to get an early start on handicapping NHL games this weekend. We'll try to find some betting value, which we've been doing a great job of here, looking ahead to the next day. So I want to remind everybody not to miss that show. It's going to be a big one. Thank you for joining me. That's it for me today on the Puck Portfolio. I will quickly recap my bets for today. The Columbus Blue Jackets plus 150, 0.64 units to win 0.96 units. The Islanders minus 123, 0.66 units to win 0.53 units. The Kings minus 104, 1.04 units to win 1 unit. And the Devils minus 116, 1.36 units to win 1.17 units. And then finally, the Vancouver Canucks at minus 185, 1.85 units to win 1 unit. And I've also got an anytime goal scorer, Quinton Byfield, plus 425. That is a bet that I really like here against this Senators team that has a pretty banged up defense corps. So we'll hopefully see Quinton Byfield find the back of the net in this one. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend the Islanders. Like I said, I'm really only looking at the Kings and the Devils at the current odds. Do not think the Canucks are a good bet anymore. I don't think the Islanders are a good bet anymore now that Simeon Varlamov is starting. And I certainly don't think the Blue Jackets are a good bet anymore now that the odds have moved from plus 150 down to the plus 120 range. So I'm on those five bets plus the anytime goal scorer with Quinton Byfield. Hopefully, it'll be a good night. It's going to be a great night of hockey, regardless. I hope you all enjoyed today's show, and I hope you'll join me on Friday for a look ahead to Saturday's NHL odds.